4C divers, happy Cinco de Mayo. It is May 5th, 2020, and we are on Facebook Live with 4C Scuba Centers. My name is Nicole. If you don't know me, I'm your host for today. I'm your social media gal and events coordinator, and we have a great program scheduled this evening for you guys to be live with us. But before we start with that, if you are online, make sure that you are going to give us our thumbs up, our heart, or our happy face emojis to let us know you're there, or give us a comment. If you have any questions during this presentation or this Q&A session, go ahead and give us your questions that you might have. So one thing I just wanted to remind you guys is it is our spearfishing month here at 4C. Every May, we always like to highlight spearfishing because it is something that our dive community likes to do. And it's a way for us to get some information to you guys about some tips and tricks, but also about the laws and other things that go into spearfishing. And I'm really excited because the topic tonight is something we've never had anybody talk about. So I'll get to there in a second. So if you are interested in spearfishing and you maybe are brand new, or maybe you've been spearfishing for a while, any of these Facebook Lives that we have planned this month are great because you never know what you're gonna get out of one of these. So make sure you go to our website, www.force-e.com, go to the event tab, and you can see all the events that we have scheduled in May. And you will also notice that we have the Spearfishing Month sale. So we have a lot of stuff on sale that ranges from spear guns, spear poles, accessories. And we've even decided to, since we haven't been able to see you guys at the store, we've decided to extend some of our other sales. Like in March, we had our wetsuit sale. And in April, we did our rec month, which was reels and lights. So all of those items are extended until the end of May. So go on that page. Like I said, it's our event tab, and you can see what we have cooked up for the month of May. So I see that people are logging on. Again, guys, don't forget to thumbs up. Let us know that you're there. Say hi to us, and make sure that you write down any questions. Another thing that we're doing, you guys all saw maybe the post that we put out today, the Cressi Gorilla extra large duffel that we have for raffle at the end, right? So if you want to get in on this raffle, you have to watch this Facebook Live, and you have to make sure that you are registered on our Eventbrite tab, which was on the event post. So if you didn't do that, make sure you go and register, because that's the only way I can pull up your name and let go and put it into our system so I can do the random name picker. So make sure you do that. You have until 7 o'clock to put your name and your email address in, and we'll get you in that raffle. All right, so let's go ahead and start this event. Like I said, if you have questions, you can go ahead and fire them off for us, write them, and we will answer them along the way. I have my guest presenter here today. We have Francisco Loffredi. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about himself, but I asked him to come on because I've always been interested, or everybody's been talking to me about, hey, how do I get into spearfishing tournaments, or how do I find teams to be on? And I never know the answer because that's just something I have no, experience with. So I said, well, let's reach out to somebody who does. So our friend here, our guest presenter, Francisco, he is actually the captain of the USA Spearfishing Team.
Well, hello, Nicole. Thank you for the opportunity to be on air with you, 4C friends, community, and spearfishing enthusiasts. Well, tournaments, it's funny, the questions you mentioned about tournaments, because I get them all the time, so it's a great topic. So I'm the current captain of the USA National Spearfishing Team. The USA Spearfishing Team usually has one appointment, one tournament a year that we prepare and compete once a year. The odd years, we compete on the Pan American, which is a tournament with 10 countries, all in the Americas. And from these 10 countries, the top 5 get to go to the World Championship the following year. So odd years, the Pan Americans, the even years, the world championship. When we compete on the Pan Americans, the other nations compete and they are regional, they're continental events. So there's the Euro African for European and African countries, and then there's the Inter Pacific for the remaining countries. So the best qualified countries in the Pan Americans, in the Euro Africans, and in the Inter Pacifics on the odd years and on the even years compete in the World Championship, which would be in Sardinia, Italy, September now, but it was postponed, pushed to next year, 2021, for obvious reasons. Okay, so Francisco, how do I get in the U.S. team and go compete in the World Championship? Happy you
So,
asked.
so yeah, actually, why don't you tell them a little bit about when you were younger and what and how you know became the spearfishing guide that you are today?
Well, I've been free diving since always. The oldest recollection I have with my father is actually free diving in Rio. I'm from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So it's the city is surrounded by water. So it's everybody does water sport, surfing, diving, kite surf, and everybody's in the water. And I'm obsessed. I love eating fish. So adding the free diving skills with my obsession in eating fish, naturally I became a spear fisherman. And I have been doing this for a while. I've been fortunate also to start competing very young. My first competition was back in 1989, and I've been competing since. And I am a big advocate for spearfishing competitions. First, on an individual level, I think it really, really improves the spear fisherman. If you want to get good in spearfishing, go compete. Get your butt kicked. Get like injections of humbleness. Hang out with people that are better than you. Hang out with the champions, and you're gonna learn from them. And you're gonna, at the end of a competition, you got your ass kicked, your butt kicked. I'm sorry, and you start thinking, I'm so good. I mean, from Monday to Friday, I shoot all these fish. How come here Saturday, this other dude shot so much more than me? What happened? And these kinds of questions make you improve. You understand, what did he do that I didn't do? What kind of fish did he catch? Did I see this fish, or didn't I even see it? Or maybe I saw it, but I wasn't able to shoot it. What kind of gear this guy's using? So it's really the best way to learn or to improve. I'm a fan also of the spearfishing courses. So when I began, I had to, sorry, the second time, ask his some superior spear fishermen and try to get these old experienced guys to teach me some tricks, which is it was kind of hard. But nowadays you can take a course. There's a lot of information online. But once you're not a beginner anymore and you really want to improve, go to the next level, I recommend you all to compete. That's the best way to improve. I'll take advantage and also make a defense of competitive spearfishing. A lot of people are against it. Oh, you catch a bunch of fish. Well, I think the best argument is that every single spearfishing competition I've taken part of, the fish allowed and the regulations are more restrictive than the current laws. So let's say I'm competing in a place where the law permits a person to catch 10 fish. In the competition, we're only allowed 6 or 7. It's always more restrictive. So if that group of skilled spearfishermen were spearfishing on their own, they would probably be catching more fish than if they were competing. So it's a misconception that the spearfishing competitions are bad. Of course, if you had bad rules and you don't have proper limits and species size, you end up targeting fish that you shouldn't be targeting. But that's not what happens in spearfishing competitions. Spearfishing competitions, we only catch fish that are. Let me put my finger in the screen here. Sorry, we only we only catch fish that are first legal. Okay, if the fish is illegal, it's not valid in a competition. Then we only catch fish that are adult. No baby fish are allowed in competitions. Third, we only catch fish that are good to eat. Nobody's going to spear something that's not going to be eaten. And fourth, we only catch fish that are challenging to catch. Yeah, we all dive. We know there are a bunch of stupid fish out there. Those are not valid in spearfishing competition. So at the end of the day, most fish in the ocean are not a go for spearfishing competition. And a spearfishing competition, you end up swimming all day, seeing a bunch of fish that are not what you want. And then you really have to work on your skill to find those specific fish for the competition, which is one of the reasons that makes you improve because spearfishing competition to do well, you got to catch fish that hang out in the bottom. You got to target fish that hang out inside a cave. You have to target fish that free swim in the surface, pelagic fish. So it makes you a more versatile spear fisherman, not only because you're targeting fish with different behaviors, but also once you improve and you start traveling to compete and compete away from home, you got to adapt and learn new spearfishing skills. So it's great for you to want to improve. It's great for the sport. Every sport needs competitions and champions and idols, and so the sport aspect is important, and it's a sustainable practice when done correctly.
Awesome. So, how do you actually put together a team? Like, do you, look for certain characteristics of a spearfishing person? Someone who's good at more of the free diving aspect versus the shooting? Like, how do you figure out who your teammates are going to be?
Okay, so the selection process, and this is for you that want to make the team. Where's the camera? Okay, this is for you that want to make the U.S. team. You qualify. So, as a captain or the Underwater Society of America that rules the governing body of spearfishing in the U.S., they don't choose, they don't select the athletes. The athletes qualify. There's a USA National Spearfishing Championship every year, and there's a ranking that takes into account the last 2 years. So if you have two good competitions in a row, if you do two good nationals in a row, you qualify for the team. So this is selection process. I don't get to choose, or nobody chooses what athlete. Actually, they put their foot on the door by doing good nationals. Of course, free diving is important, but our sport at the end of the day is spearfishing. It's putting fish on the deck. And I see a lot of over effort and overthinking regarding free diving and how deep I go, how deep I go. And if you're too focused on going deep, you're not focused enough on catching fish. And what we really need at the end of the day of spearfishing competition is people that can land fish. So it's not on not uncommon, or for the guy that free dive is not as deep, to shoot more fish than this super free diver guy that can go really deep and stuff. But his attention is on free diving. It's another sport. I always say, how fast could Babe Ruth run? Who cares? It's about smacking the ball.
Yeah.
So how deep do you dive, or whoever dive? Who cares? It's spearfishing. It's about landing fish. So that's what really counts. Of course, if I dive deeper, it's better for me. If Babe Ruth ran faster, it would be better for him. But the sport is his sport is smacking the ball, and our sport is smacking the fish. So uh, keep the focus on spearfishing, and
So,
don't let the free diving distract you.
so when you finally figure out who the teams are going to be, how does the tournament figure out like what boats you go on and to what locations?
Well, the location is predetermined by CMAS, which is the world governing body of spearfishing. And basically, I mean, every country wants to have a world championship or a continental in their city, in their country. So it's a very diverse. Last year we did the Pan American in Patagonia. The water's 42, 43 degrees, pretty cold. And this year, the World Championship was going to be in Sardinia, which is a paradise with warm water, super clear. And Patagonia, I wouldn't be able to see this computer in front of me. That's how dark the water is. But it's a spearfishing competition. It's not how far I can see competition.
Mhm.
So it's really, and it's something, it takes some mental understanding to grasp that it's a spearfishing competition. It's whoever catches more fish in this given scenario, which today can be clear blue water, tomorrow it can be dark, and the other day it can be deep, and the other day it can be shallow. So you got to adapt. So usually we go something like a month ahead to the new destination. Every year is a new place, and we try to get local knowledge, understand the effects of the currents, the wind, the tide. So a month from now, when the day of the morning of the competition arrives, and whatever wind is blowing, we kind of know, oh, if the wind blows this direction, the fish are here. We know how the tide affects the fish, especially when it's shallow diving. The tide really influences a lot the fishing. So we got to understand for our strategy. Okay, the high tide is in the end of the day, so let's start here and then we go there. And there's also a big diplomatic effort, because in a month we can't learn as the local knowledge as good as the local team. So the only way for us to accelerate our learning curve is mingling with local fishermen, which on the average want to help the local team, not the American dudes. So there's a big diplomacy effort to bring locals to our team and to support us and get knowledge from them, and that accelerates our learning curve a lot. We got to find boats. I mean, they make boats available for us, but I can't wake up in the morning and then say, "Hey, Francisco, this is your boat." It's I have to be familiar with the boat and know how to navigate, learn the electronics of the boat, or install my electronics that I took to the destination to have that work. So it's time consuming, and it's capital intensive. It costs a lot to fly a team, spend a month, hotel, boats, food. So budget is a big issue for us. And
I'm
so
guessing you
I
guys
mean,
have a lot of sponsors or
I
anything.
think no. So I'm saying that budget is a big deal, and that's where the U.S. team can improve. We have the talent. We have a young, skillful team that really can thrive in the world level. We need a little bit more money, and I would say we need a little bit more support and engagement of the U.S. spearfishing community, and that's growing. And this kind of events will help. So thank
So,
you for tuning in.
so it looks like you have a friend,
Hey, I
Eric.
lost you, Nicole. Can't hear you.
No, can't hear me.
No.
Hmm.
Hmm. Sign language. I didn't press any button.
Can you hear me now?
Nope.
Hmm. How
Am
about
I
now?
muted? Hello?
Can
You
you hear
hear
me
me good? Sign language, you hear me good?
now? I hear you. You
Okay.
hear me?
No, no. Sorry.
Hmm.
I have a I have a question here I can see from Eric Lieberman.
Yeah.
Eric, I'm afraid of flying, but if I can hold your hand, I'll feel much safer.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Nicole. So everybody's hearing Nicole except me? My volume is up.
I don't know. Maybe you muted me.
Let me see. I'll go answer any questions I have here. Uh, Wooden or metal gun? Okay. I can't hear you, Nicole. I'm going to answer these questions. And when it picks up, we continue. So, wooden or metal gun? I'm a metal gun. I think on the average, people overthink the guns. Everybody's big wooden guns, and the big wooden guns are for, I don't know, big fish over 100, at least so over 25 pounds. So I prefer a small, agile, precise gun over big wooden gun. Of course, if I'm shooting big game and tunas and that kind of stuff, I'll go for the wooden gun. But for the kind of diving I do here in Florida, I spearfish with a 120 reel gun with a 7 mil shaft, and it's very light and precise. So I counterbalance not having this big powerful gun with precise shots that I can land to the head, and that seems to be seems to be working well for me. So a question from Gary: is there one big fish you really enjoy targeting, and why? Well, I'm driven by two kinds of fish. The one I want to eat, because at the end of the day, for me, it's all about putting food on the table, and a new fish or a challenging fish. So my favorite fish to eat, unfortunately, they're illegal to spear here in the U.S., so I have to fly back home to spear them, which are the snook. It's nothing better than a snook kind of this size in the oven, 4 pound, 3 pound snook in the oven. There's nothing better than that. Here, they're kind of easy, but where they're targeted, it's really tricky fish to shoot. Regarding spearfishing, the most challenging fish for me, no doubt, is the Atlantic cubera, not the Pacific one, but the Atlantic cubera. They're big, tough, hard to approach. They're borderline bulletproof. Belly shots from far away won't land that fish. You really got to get close. You got to really land a solid shot. So I would say the cubera is the big challenge for me. But I'm also always interested in new fish. A few years ago, I dove for the first time the northern New England for the striped bass, and I went crazy. That's all I could think about was striped bass, shooting striped bass, eating striped bass. So basically, I'm after the good eating fish, the challenging fish, and that new fish. Cool, cool, Gary. Did I answer you, buddy?
Let's see. Francisco, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Uh, no, I can't. I still can't hear you.
Okay.
Still can't hear you. L- l- Let me go here to my system preference. Let me make sure if there's everything okay here. Output, internal speakers. Yeah, yeah, internal speakers. Everything looks good here.
And you don't hear me?
Okay, I have a question for Eric, from Eric, my buddy Eric. Are world record fish the ultimate goal for a spear fisherman, or is it a more of a team sport result that is more important? Excellent, excellent question. I'll break the answer in two parts. The world record is something individual. It I get the trophy, I shot the fish, and it's fun. It's I think there's a sport challenge to overcome these limits, and there's a scientific interest also to see how big these fish grow and how do they behave and where to find them. So that's pretty cool. And I'm kind of new to the world record. I have three that I caught in the last year, and it's something I didn't give much attention before, but that has totally changed, and I'm all into breaking world records now. I want more trophies in my apartment. But back in my commercial days, I just wanted to pay my bills, so I didn't even take pictures of the fish, and I didn't bother with records. But now my focus is more on the sport aspect, sport fishing, than commercial spear fishing. I don't sell fish anymore, and it's something I don't support very much, even though I did it a bunch of times for many years. So so yeah, I'm all in for the records. Hopefully this year I'll break a few more. And I think the best part of your question, Eric, was regarding the sport, the team effort. I mean, it's easy to see sport spearfishing as an individual sport. You hold your breath and you go down alone, and there's nobody around you. And that's a first impression because it truly, truly is a team sport, especially the competitive spearfishing. Because you're not in the water alone. Sometimes you have a buddy. Sometimes sometimes no, there's always somebody driving your boat, and you prepare for a month. So there's a team that helps you scout. So it's actually at the end of the day, the fishermen that really thrive, both back in a commercial venture, back in my commercial days, or now in competitive spearfishing, the teams that thrive are the teams that really work as a team. Everybody sums their effort into one direction, and that pays off. In the World Championship or in a Pan American, the U.S. team is like an army. We have infantrymen, we have doctors, we have a colonel, we have a captain, we have everything planned out to work as a team. And the day of the competition, we have three divers in the water, and then we have three boat captains, and then we have observers. During the weigh-in, we have people observing, taking pictures, and taking notes. The month before, we have three, six, 10 people in the water together with the divers, helping to find, helping to locate fish, do the proper scouting, and grasp that understanding. So there's no way somebody can be individual world champion working alone. The guy, the guy that it's like the Formula One or car racing. You know, you see the pilot in the podium, but a lot of people put effort for that pilot to win the race and be in the top of the podium, spraying champagne and everybody. So it's a big team effort. It's a big team effort. A lot of teams and a lot of divers, especially the new ones, don't grasp that. They still feel it's up on their own, up to themselves. But they'll quickly learn that they need a team behind them, and that's one of the challenges of a national team and the captain, because the athletes that qualify, remember, I don't pick them, they qualified working on their own team, they qualify alone. So this guy arrives at the US team by himself, and it's important he grasps that his new teammates are these people that he used to compete against. He has been competing against in the last 2 years, and now they are a team. They must work together, and the result of this team working together is that one of them might get lucky, thrive more than the other, get a better position, or even win. But he didn't make it to the top of the podium alone. And the best way not to make to the podium is thinking you're on your own. So really make a team effort, and it will pay off. Okay,
Francisco, can
Nicole,
you hear me?
can't hear you.
Oh my gosh, I think
Oh my
everybody else
God.
hears
I
me.
don't,
Remember, guys, you've got one more minute to register
I didn't get it. I
online
didn't get it.
to get that raffle in so we can raffle that bag off. So make sure you go over to that link and register right now. Go, keep asking.
I'm going to read the questions, okay? I'm answering the questions. I still can't hear you. Are these teams sponsored by businesses, or is this paid by individuals? So it's an amateur sport, almost becoming a professional sport. We're kind of in the borderline. The top divers kind of make spearfishing a living. It's the only way they can spend enough time in the water to compete. The U.S. team has every year different sponsors. This year, who really helped us was Salt Life. Big shout out to Nicole and Neri from Salt Life that supported our team. They made these killer T-shirts, uh, and the sales of these T-shirts help our team. And the Pan American, we also got support from Paralens Cameras, and again Salt Life. So there are businesses supporting the team, and there's individual effort and the individual sponsors of athletes. I'm sorry, I have sponsors that help me travel with the team, even though they don't sponsor the team. So it's a little bit of both. Um, we have our own sponsors. We have our own money. Hopefully, at this level, we don't spend our money to travel, and we get uh, other supports, some support from the team. Can you talk about safety issues? I've sadly been with some folks who just point their guns at all different directions, including the well, safety is an issue in spearfishing. It's a sport that a lot of accidents can happen if you're not careful, but also you can spearfish all your life and be fine and have tasty, healthy meals. So there are a few rules that you should always follow. Some are kind of obvious, as Gary mentioned, people sometimes are a little bit reckless with guns. So never carry a loaded gun in a boat. Never load a gun in a boat. Never, never, never. I'm not. I don't believe in safety, in the gun safety. The gun's loaded. It can always harm you. I don't see a scenario where you would turn on the safety and still keep the gun loaded. If you're gonna turn on the safety of your gun, you should be really unloading your gun, and not leaving it loaded on safety. Well, I have some maybe counterintuitive security measures. One of them, if you're free diving, always dive with a buddy. Now, that can't be stated too much, but keep in mind you are alone in the water. You are alone in the water. Don't count on your buddy to get you out of trouble. So in a certain way, I am against the buddy system because I think that might lead people to be overconfident. Oh, because Gary's watching me, you know. So don't count on anybody saving you if you get into trouble. Consider you're alone, and consider it's up to you to get out of trouble. Free diving, don't be very attached to your weight belt. If you did a deep dive, something went wrong, drop your belt. You can recover it later, or just drive down to 4C and buy a new belt. So if things are weird, let go of your belt. Let the wetsuit bring you up, and so that's something important too. Another safety tip I would give is don't keep on watch. Don't keep looking at your depth watch, depth gauge, and see how deep you are, how long you stayed. Remember, it's about smacking the ball or smacking the fish. It's not about how deep and how long you go. And keeping keeping your attention how deep and looking at how deep you are, looking at your watch, that will just set you back. That will just set you back. I really don't recommend these free diving watches for beginners. If you're advanced and you have experience, the dive watch can help you. In the beginning, they just kind of just make you lose your focus. And at the end of the day, I believe the dive watches give you bad advice. Let me explain this. Let's say I'm a comfortable free diver at 60 feet. Okay, I'm fine. I dive regularly at 60 feet. 60 feet is fine for me. But one day I had bad night of sleep, got a flat tire, my dog pissed on the carpet. I'm not in a good mood, and that day 60 feet might be deep for me. I mean, not because I dive regularly at 60 feet means that every day I'll be fine at 60 feet. So, in this day that I'm a little bit off and 60 feet is kind of deep, I go down and I'm comfortable at 40 feet. And I decide to stay at 40 feet. But if I look at my watch, I'm going to go, oh, I'm only at 40 feet. I can go a little bit more. Not that day. So the watch is going to make you stop listening to your body and give you bad advice, saying, oh, Francisco, you're only at 40 feet. You can go deeper. 60 feet is fine. Yesterday you were at 60 feet. And also it can give you bad advice in the opposite scenario. Let's say I'm really comfortable at 60 feet, but this day that I'm feeling fit, I'm feeling well, and I'm diving at 70, 80, 90 feet, and I'm feeling comfortable. But as soon as I look at the watch and I go, oh my God, I'm at 90 feet, that can rattle me. I can lose my cool. And suddenly the comfort and the well-being I'm feeling at 90 feet, I lost it. And then I'm deep and nervous. And then 90 feet became deep and dangerous. And it wasn't before I checked my depth. So really learn how to use. Don't focus on your depth. Focus on shooting fish. Did I answer? Okay, let me go. Can you talk about safety? Yeah. Yeah, Gary, I'm checking the volume. The volume is up. She went silent.
Can you
I
hear
didn't
me
press any
now?
button. I was just talking here, and I continued talking. No,
Can you hear me
sorry,
now?
sorry.
No?
No. Okay. Okay, Bill. Thank you. Thank you. What about local tournaments, lionfish derby? Have you any info on this? I'm a beginner with lionfish. I shot my first lionfish less than a year ago with Chiefy. But I like spearfishing competitions. I like spearfishing lionfish. I loved eating lionfish. So I'm all up for the derbies. Sign me in for the next one, man. I'm in. I'm in. Let's hammer these lionfish. And we have the tree huggers on our side because we can shoot all the lionfish we want and still go to heaven. So I'm all in favor for that. So Todd Underwood, what's your go-to gun and how is it set up? I have the number one gun I use is a 120 Cressi Cherokee Ocean, which has a 7 millimeter shaft and two 16 millimeter bands. It is somewhat of a light gun for big fish, but because it's light, it's agile and precise. So the loss of power and maybe loss of impact for the thin shaft I use, I compensate with good solid shots to the head, and that works to bring big fish in. As a competitor, let's say my greatest skill or my greatest achievements have always been landing the biggest fish of the tournament. I collect big fish trophies from tournaments from all over the planet, from Africa, South America, North America, Central America, in Europe, and most or almost every one of these tournaments, I had the smallest gun among the competitors, and that never stopped me from bringing in the biggest fish. So Nicole, we have a video. Want to try the video? The this video shows not only my concept about not my concept, the concept of trophy spearfishing, which is catching one fish, what you want to eat, a special fish, and it really showcases how a light, agile gun can perform. I In this video, I shoot a truly huge fish from far away, and my little gun didn't prevent me from having plenty of a striped bass steak that night. Okay, play the video. Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to play the video. I don't know why he can't hear me, but let's go ahead here.
True spearfishermen are driven by the passion for that one special fish. Not any fish, not every fish, but that one trophy fish that demands all his skill. In many cases, that means passing by lots of nice fish like these big, tasty striped bass and returning home empty-handed. Today, the spearfisherman has done countless dives like this and had many encounters with the school of bass. But being a trophy hunter, he prefers to wait for an encounter that may not even happen. Patiently, he sits in an 18-meter bottom, surrounded by big 20 kilos per bass. These are great fish, but not enough to take the attention of the spear. Patient pays off when a massive striped bass reaches from the ladder on the outskirts of the school. He aims even for the air to swoop away the school. The shot is fired with great precision and power, delivering the stainless steel spear to the bass's head. In slow motion, you can appreciate the incredible shot. Perfect timing and accuracy, shooting through the other fish to seize that short window of opportunity. It's spearfishing at its best. Though fatally wounded, he still has a fight and must be put away with a mercy kill. This is selective, sustainable fishing in its essence. This is trophy spearfishing.
You guys hear me?
Francisco, do you hear me? Hello? Looks like he froze, everybody. Give us a second here. Can you guys comment and see if you can hear us? All right. Francisco, can you hear me? Okay. We can't hear you. Oh, boy. All right, guys, give us 1 second here. I'm going to try and get him to reboot his computer here. And retry. Okay, so we'll see what happens here in just a second. Guys, I did want to let you guys know that you can still enter some questions in here. And then after we're done, we will do a raffle. So give us a second here to see if we can get Francisco back on. Let's see. Hold on, I'm just going to send him a message. All right. You got to love this. All right. Everyone wants me to write on a piece of paper, but that means you're not going to. All right, hold on. Let's see if he gets my message. Oh, boy. Facebook Live is so much fun, everyone, isn't it? Let's see. Let's see if he gets that, everyone. Okay. All right. So like I said, guys, it is May. It is our spearfishing month here at 4C Scuba Centers. And you can go to our website at www.force-e.com and you can see what we have cooked up for the month. We've got some other spearfishing Facebook Lives and we have some great sales on stuff. So let's see. Oh, you! All right. Some technical difficulties. You got it, though. I was just letting everybody know that we have our spearfishing month, and so we're going to go ahead and go back to. So, Francisco, during the video, somebody asked you about where's your favorite place to fish. I think that's what we were kind of trying to talk about when you were the video was going.
Yeah, I don't know how much I said and nobody listened. I talked about my gun of choice. Well, my I like always a new place, but at the end of the day, you know, when I was a kid, I went to the house of one of my spearfishing idols, this guy that has traveled all over the world and shot and done everything. And I asked him, I was like 18, 17. I said, hey, Beto, where's the best place? Where's the favorite place to spearfish? And he goes, in my backyard. So I didn't get it. I thought he was like, I don't know, trying to be cool or whatever. But now I understand. I mean, I travel all over and shoot new fish in different places. But if shooting a fish in your backyard, and which for you guys in Florida, that's great. Turns out to be, I think, the best thing. You just go back home and have your fish, and you have your little favorite spot. And in your backyard, there's always that fish that challenge no more. But I have a lot of pleasure in exploring. Like when I do trips for clients, or I scout for a world championship, arriving ahead of time and discovering this new place and this new fish. So I like the challenging fish of my backyard, and I like exploring new fish. So in my target, I mean, there's some pelagic fish that I've never shot. This dog-tooth tuna, something that I'm interested in. These big halibuts from Scandinavia, I'm interested in. But like I said earlier, the most challenging fish and the most special fish, which you guys have here in your backyard in Florida, and I do also in my backyard in Rio, is the cubera, the Atlantic cubera. That's the man. That's a challenge.
And what's your favorite dish that you can make with that with the cabera?
I think the best way to prepare fish to really enjoy it the fullest is a whole fish in the oven. So when I'm lazy or I got a quick meal, a fillet might be easier or faster, but to fully enjoy a fish, put it in the oven, you know, and that's my way to go. But I like to eat grouper heads. I make grouper heads too. I eat stuff you guys don't eat here and don't like very much, like mackerels and barracudas. I also am a fan of mackerels and barracudas. And like I said before, if I could choose any fish, it would be a 3-pound snook. But I gotta wait to get back home to get to eat some snook.
Awesome. I also had another question. Let's see, it was coming in here. You know, when it comes to getting that particular fish, especially a bigger fish, it's all about the shot placement, right? So how do you figure out, well, first of all, a lot of people have a hard time doing like measurements underwater. So what is some of your tips and tricks on figuring out your measurements underwater before you shoot, so that you don't shoot something that's not in the right size range? But then also, like, where do you want to put that shot?
Well, my background, as mentioned before, was commercial fishing. So a fish shot in the head is worth more than the fish with the belly shot. So for purely economic reasons, I was pressured in an early age to really aim for the head, and that became my thing. I mean, I've been shooting some big trophy fish. Maybe it's a time to show the trophy fish album, Nicole.
Sure, let me go ahead and pull that up.
All these fish that she's going to show now were shot with a 110, 100, or 120. I've never used anything bigger than a 120, and that hasn't stopped me. But some of these fish are actually on my YouTube channel, caught on camera. So you'll see they've all been landed with, not necessarily all headshots, but with all of them with the shots I wanted. I say that because the big cuberas, unless you're at a very close range, which is like a range if you get it inside a cave. Well, that grouper was with a headshot behind the eye, you know, behind the eye. That's what I aimed for. So this one too. This one's actually on camera on my YouTube channel. We started with the groupers. Yeah. This grouper, the next one, this one, 75-pound black grouper. This one actually broke my shaft. And then I had to land another shot. So it wasn't, the shot placement didn't work that well. The next one, maybe I think the coolest fish I ever shot, which is a 110-pound cubera, shot with a 90-centimeter single sling spear gun. I got the cubera in the cave, so I got a good solid shot. The next is the same cubera. Oh, that's a fun picture, just to say that spearfishing is my day job. So that's a dusky grouper. It's the money makers from Rio. Usually they're in the cave, and if you don't land a solid shot in the head, you'll never get the fish out of the cave. So belly shots really don't work for this fish. The next one is a couple of big striped bass. Also, can you see the entry wound on these fish? Nah, headshots right behind the eye, both of them. The fish didn't even move, and I didn't ruin the fillet. I didn't scare the school. I forgot to mention that the commercial fisherman does not want to scare the school or the competitive. So shooting the fish in the head is not only about sales price and using a small gun. It's also not disturbing the environment, so you can continue spearfishing. So these two striped bass were shot right behind the eye with a light, precise gun. The next cubera, the next two pictures are the same cubera. I wish there were two different cubera and I had shot two of these, but they're the same fish. This fish is, I was saying that sometimes the desired fish is not, the desired shot is not a head shot. These big cuberas, when they're free swimming and swimming away from you, you won't land it even with a head shot from far away. You won't land it with a mid body shot. This was an 85-pound cubera. These big cuberas, sometimes the best shot is on the tail from behind to the head. So the spear can penetrate between the scales and get a solid shot to its tail. The cuberas fight really hard. They have a big explosion, and they'll probably break your gear, your line, your spear, and get away. But if you land a solid shot in its tail and it doesn't break your gear, it's going to put all its effort in this one first big explosion. Then it kind of just stops, like if it had a heart attack or it just got too tired. So a solid shot from behind in the tail, if it holds, you'll probably land this big cubera. Next one is would have been a world record mackerel, king mackerel, but I shot it in the last few hours of December 31st. When I got home, New Year's party was already on, champagne was on the ice, and I took this picture and went partying. I didn't measure away and took all the necessary measures, and now I regret it. But you can see I'm with my 110 gun, and I got, which I believe is the ideal shot for big pelagics, which is a shot from behind into the eye. A perpendicular shot is not a good shot for big pelagics because the pelagic will swim away and it'll make your spear shake like this, tearing the flesh and breaking the shaft. If you shoot from behind, kind of diagonal, when the fish swims forward, the spear will close to the body. It won't tear the flesh and it won't ruin your spear. And a good example is the year I won the individual Blue Water World Cup back in 2013. I won the tournament shooting 7 big fish. 7 big fish. 2 big amberjacks, 2 big wahoos, 2 big milkfish, and a marlin. And I shot everything with the same spear. A 7 mil spear. And I didn't even bent it because everybody got shot in the head from behind. They were all pelagic. And half of them got stoned, and the ones that didn't get stoned, the way the fish pulled, it didn't ruin my spear. So that's important too. Shot placement also, not to ruin your gear. A few world records. Well, that's a cool picture, dude. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Be proud of your fish. every fish you shoot and you killed, you owe your respect to that fish. So keep it on ice, eat it, appreciate it, take a picture, be proud of your fish. You know, it made its ultimate sacrifice for your sport and your feeding. So really respect the fish you shoot and bring home. So that was a post-spear world record. I like challenging fish, so I was diving in a place that had a lot of fish, and it was in a place that's not dove in often. So it was more fun to get a pole spear and chase these fish than use my spear gun and have a less challenging afternoon. So a few of the world records I broke last year. The next one is the cool trophy. I want to get more in my shelf. Yeah, so I want more of those. I had a late start. This is the striped bass video, a 30-pounder, 30-kilo striped bass. The next photo, Nicole. Yeah. This is the next one is the dusky grouper. It's the money maker from Rio. This is exceptionally big. Also, and you notice it's a small gun, but these fish are shot in a cave, so very rare to shoot them free swimming. So a small gun is more appropriate, anyways. Do you have more of those? No.
No, that was it. Awesome.
Questions? More questions?
I haven't seen anything else come in. So I did have one other question that I had for you is, so
Sure.
You're on the team and, you know, obviously this is not do you have a day job? Can people do this and have a day job, or is this something like it's a full-time thing?
Well, to win, you got to dedicate. Usually the champions, there are exceptions, but usually the champions can dive during the week. So maybe it's not their full-time job, but they get to sneak in the water during the weeks some way and somehow. That said, with the internet, the sport grew a lot. There's a lot of attention. Before, in the 90s, I would win a tournament. Nobody would know about it. It wouldn't mean anything. Now you win something, I get messages. I mean, anybody gets messages from all over the world. So this attention that the sport gives the people that dedicate themselves to spearfishing an opportunity to live from spearfishing, between tournaments, talks, developing product with your sponsor. I'm sponsored by Cressi, so I work with them developing products for Cressi, doing TV shows. So it's kind of the chick in the Chinese circus, balancing a lot of plates and the foot and the hand at the same time. But they're all spearfishing related, and I mean, nobody spearfishes for the money. They do it for passion. So you can live off your passion if you do it well. Yeah, I always joke it's a lifestyle everybody wants with a bank account nobody wants. But dude, I get to travel all over. I know I've been all over. I eat a lot of good fish. I'm always in some sunny place, and I can't complain.
That's
It's not
awesome.
it's not NBA. It's not NBA. I haven't bought my Malibu mansion yet, but maybe the sport grows a little bit more. Who knows? But just to say, it's grown to a point. I believe it's going to be professional.
Yeah,
there's going to be money in it. I mean, the industry behind it is very big. Is that the money's there? We just have to learn to use it, learn to bring it to the team. It's kind of bringing the community towards the team, and it's the direction we're moving.
Awesome. And talking about sponsorships and getting more money and gear, tell us a little bit about the Cressi brand. You're an ambassador for them. So what is it that you like about the Cressi brand? What gear it is that you're using to kind of give us a little bit more about the Cressi brand?
Okay. Oh, Mr. Cressi invented the mask with the nose. So we owe a lot of freediving to Mr. Cressi. And what I can say first, it's the brand. I've been fascinated. My spearfishing heroes when I was a teenager were Cressi divers. So the day I went to the Cressi factory, signed the contract, and met Mr. Cressi was truly one of the happiest and most special days of my life. We went out for lunch. I was breathless, speechless. What I can say about Cressi is it's done with passion. People are obsessed with spearfishing. They talk, eat, breathe spearfishing, and we put a lot of effort in making good products. Um, so it's very unique. It's the most traditional brand. 1/3 of the world championships were won by Cressi athletes. So it's really special. It has a big line of products: free diving, spearfishing. They even have a Cressi dog now with dog ears, neoprene if your dog's cold in the water. So it's a special brand. It opens a lot of doors, so I can travel anywhere in the world. There's a Cressi rep and the Cressi fans, and Mr. Cressi is the most elegant man in Europe. He's always so polite and courteous. I'll bore you guys to death complimenting and say how much I love Cressi. So I'll stop now.
Well, that's good to note because, hey, guess what, everybody? I think it's time that we do our Cressi Gorilla Bag raffle. What do you guys think? Everybody excited? All right. So let's see. We are going to go ahead and bring into the stream. So I already pulled everyone's name off of the registration. So for let's see. Francisco, I'm going to hide you just 1 second, okay?
Okay, cool.
Okay, everybody. So we've got our screen here with our raffle, and we're going to go ahead and pick a name at random to see who we get. Drum roll. The winner is, let's see, Bill Utterback. Bill. We know Bill. All right. Let's see. Let's bring Francisco back in. So,
what's up?
There we go.
Say hi to Javier competed in the Pan American. What's up, Javier? Good to see you. Nice job.
So Bill will contact you if you want to go ahead and pick that up at the store or have it mailed to you up in the Arctic tundra, which is where you said you were at. I saw he actually was the first person to say hello to us on this, Francisco. He said that he's in Iowa, in the frozen tundra of Iowa. So, but I do know to come down here to, you know, dive during the during the season. So we'll get that out to you, Bill. No problem. Awesome. Yay. Oh, Bill says happy. He knows he won.
Congrats, Bill. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say hi to Javier. I didn't know if you got me saying hi. It's hi to your parents. He competed in the Pan American last year in Patagonia, and he'll do well in Tundra, Iowa, because it was pretty cold in Patagonia too. Maybe him and Todd should get together. Oh, Bill should get together and shoot some fish.
We actually have a lot of people coming in and saying hello to you. Sounds like you're a very popular guy. We've got Chiefy on the Facebook Live.
Yeah, Chiefy has been the man for me here in the U.S. He embraced me when I first arrived, introduced me to a bunch of people, took me out hundreds of times. So, Chiefy, you're the man.
Yeah,
you're the man.
Actually brought you over. There's a South Florida Spearfishing Club, and you know, there's something else. If you know you're maybe not ready to do tournaments yet, or you don't have a team. Finding some clubs around that do spearfishing is probably another way to get involved and get a little bit more, you know, practice and experience.
Yeah, like I said, if you want to get good in spearfishing, compete. This is what happened. Anybody here play backgammon? I always say that spearfishing is like backgammon, because backgammon is the following. You learn backgammon. Let's say I'm really good in backgammon and you're just starting. We play a match. Maybe you'll beat me, because there is some luck involved in the backgammon. It's a dice game. If we play 100 times, you'll win 1 and I win 99, but you can still beat me once. So it's easy for somebody that is an average backgammon player think they're really good. I kind of think spearfishing is like that. It's easy for somebody not so good think they're really good. And once you start thinking you're really good, you stop evolving and you're not going anywhere. So you think you're really good, you go to the competition, you get your butt kicked, you realize that you suck and you still have a long way to learn, and then that opens the window for you to learn. So really compete, get your butt kicked, and you will improve.
That's awesome. That's great words of wisdom. So thank you again to Francisco for this great Facebook Live. We're really sorry about some of the complications with the audio, but we definitely worked through it and got through it. And I mean, everybody's, pretty happy with the fish photos you were showing. It's just really cool to see something that we don't see that often, which is world record fish and how that's done. And again, thank you for the knowledge. And we definitely want to give you the, support for your next tournament. So make sure everybody goes to, you have a YouTube and an Instagram and a Facebook, right?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you since you mentioned something. Look, what the US team really needs, and will be a game changer for us, is to get the support of the spearfishing community and the spearfishing industry. We got some, but we can still get more. And a way to do that is follow us online. There's a US Spearfishing Team Facebook and Instagram. The athletes all have an Instagram, and most of them have a YouTube channel. I have a cool Instagram and a cool YouTube channel, so please check it out. See me spearing some of these fish you saw in the photos. Follow, subscribe, and the Salt Life made this killer, really cool T-shirt to support our World Championship effort. For $25, you'll get the coolest spearfishing T-shirt shipped for free to your house. Just go on the our Facebook page, and you can click on the link, and you'll look cool wearing our T-shirt.
Awesome. Do you have a special handle for the Instagram so people know? Like,
my YouTube channel and my Instagram are my name, Francisco Loffredi, Loffredi. And there's a YouTube. I have to make this warning. Serious now. One of my videos is called Bull Shark Bullying. Just don't watch this video before you go to bed, please. Okay, just watch it daytime. The other ones are you can watch anytime, but in particularly this one, don't watch it before you go to bed.
Okay, interesting. So, all right, everybody. Well, thank you all for tuning in, and we appreciate the support. And hopefully, we'll see you on our next couple of Facebook Lives. And Francisco, thank you again for taking the time to talk to us and answer our questions.
Thank you, 4C. Thank you, Nicole. Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. Ciao.